Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Today I have another very easy, delicious recipe for you. Today I am going to show you how to make quick keto zucchini bread muffins. These are so easy and so delicious. They are perfect with your morning cup of coffee or tea or a quick snack, or just anytime you want something that's a little bit lightly sweet. These are perfect. And if you want a printable version of this recipe, you can check out my website at janetsdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find a printable version of this recipe and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, low-carb keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those affiliate links, a small portion of your purchase will go to me and help support the channel. So while you do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Spray or line 10 muffin cups with cooking spray or paper liners. Just a heads up on this, when it comes to coconut flour muffins, the silicone muffin cups are really the best because after your muffins are baked and cooled, you can just push the bottom of the silicone cup and they pop right out. You can still make these without the silicone cups. You can make them in the metal pans with paper liners. But be aware that if you use the paper liners, sometimes after the muffins are cooked, the indentions of the paper liner can get embedded a little bit into the bottom of the muffin. So after your muffin cools and you try to peel the paper liner off, you run the risk of your muffin crumbling a bit because the paper liner likes to embed into it. So just be aware of that if you decide you want to use paper liners rather than just spraying your muffin cups. Once you've sprayed or lined your muffin cups, then set them aside for just a minute. In a large mixing bowl, combine 84 grams or around 3/4 cup of coconut flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 15 grams or around 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 100 grams or around a half cup of the granulated sweetener of your choice. I'm using granulated monk fruit sweetener. You can use whatever granulated sweetener you want. You can also adjust this more or less depending on how sweet you want your muffins. Add 100 grams or around a half cup of the brown sugar sweetener of your choice. I'm using brown monk fruit sweetener. Again, you can use whatever brown sugar sweetener you want. And again, you can also adjust this more or less depending on how sweet you want your muffins. Add 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a half teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and a half teaspoon of ground ginger. You can change or adjust these spices according to your personal taste. Sift all the dry ingredients all together until they're fully combined and there are no lumps in the dry ingredients. Add 3 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they are room temperature so they stir together more smoothly and you can have a more fluffy muffin. Stir the eggs into the dry ingredients until everything is fully combined and all the dry ingredients are moist. Add 6 tablespoons of butter that's been melted and cooled. Make sure it is cooled. You do not want to add hot butter. Stir the butter in until everything is fully combined. Add 90 grams or around 6 tablespoons of room temperature plain yogurt or sour cream. Again, make sure this is room temperature. I always tell you all, room temperature ingredients really make a huge difference when it comes to baking with coconut flour. When your ingredients are not room temperature, they tend to chunk up and your dough doesn't come together as smoothly as when you use room temperature ingredients. Stir everything all together until everything is fully combined and you have a smooth dough that is formed. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and push all the ingredients to the center of the bowl. Then form your dough into a smooth ball. Massage the ball of dough in your hands just for about 20-30 seconds. This is just to Make sure that you have the right texture of dough. Your dough should be lightly moist. It should be able to hold together easily as you form it into a ball. And as you're massaging the dough, it should be staying together really well. There shouldn't be any chunks falling off. And it should not be sticking to your fingers. If it's sticking to your fingers, that means it's a little too moist and you need to add a very tiny bit more of coconut flour. If it's falling off in chunks, that means it's a little bit too dry and you need to add a tiny bit more of room temperature milk or water. Just keep in mind, if your dough does seem a little bit dry, don't add too much extra liquid because once you fold in the zucchini, that's going to add a little bit more moisture also. Once you have the right texture of your dough and it's formed into a nice smooth ball and you've massaged it for a little bit, form it back into a ball and place it back into your mixing bowl. Then use a wooden spoon and break up the ball of dough just a little bit. Gradually fold in 200 grams or around 1 cup of shredded zucchini. Make sure you fold this in just in small portions at a time. That way the zucchini doesn't stick together and it gets evenly distributed throughout the dough. Also, before you put the zucchini in, make sure that you've put it in a colander or on some paper towels and pushed out as much of the water as you can. It doesn't have to be completely dried out, but you want to try to get as much of the water out as you can so your dough is not soupy. Once you have the zucchini all completely folded in, make sure it's stirred all together and fully combined and all the zucchini is evenly distributed throughout the dough. Then once again, scrape down the sides of the bowl and push all the dough to the center of the bowl. Now your dough right now is most likely going to be very wet. It should not be soupy. You should still have a thickness to your dough, but it is going to be very wet. So allow the dough to sit in the bowl at room temperature uncovered for about 10 minutes. This is going to help absorb a little bit more of the moisture. You're still going to have a wet dough once it's done, but as it sits for 10 minutes, it should absorb a portion of the excess liquid and become a little bit more thick and a little bit more stiff. So after 10 minutes, check your dough. Make sure that it has thickened up just a little bit and absorbed a little bit of that extra moisture. As I said, it's still going to be a wet dough, but you should be able to scoop it with a spoon and it be thick and hold its own shape. Divide the dough evenly between the 10 prepared muffin cups. It's roughly around 3.5 tablespoons of dough in each cup, give or take a little bit. Once the dough is evenly divided, use your fingers or the back of a measuring spoon and press the dough evenly throughout each muffin cup. Make sure it's nice and even and the tops stay fairly flat. Once your muffins are all evenly shaped in the muffin cups, place them in your preheated oven and bake at 350 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes or until they're golden on top and a tester comes out clean. Once the muffins are done baking, remove them from the oven. They are going to be soft, but they will firm up as they cool. So allow them to cool in the pan for at least 30 minutes so they can continue to cook a little bit and firm up really well so they don't fall apart when you go to remove them from the muffin cups. After 30 minutes, carefully remove the muffins from the muffin cups and transfer them to a wire rack. Make sure you remove them carefully. Gluten-free baked goods are always fragile when they're still warm, so be careful when you take them out of muffin cups. Place them on the wire rack and allow them to cool completely before serving. Once the muffins have cooled completely, put them on the serving platter of your choice. You can eat them immediately. If you do have any leftovers, store them in an airtight container at room temperature for up to 3 days, or in an airtight container in your refrigerator for up to 5 days, or you can also put these in a freezer-safe container and freeze them for up to 3 months. Eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.